These stats are getting me hard. This time we got the rock type, a super offensively orientated type that is tied for having the most amount of weaknesses. It's still valid though, so here we go, 50 useless rock type stats. Like always, only regular and regional forms will be in the count, not alternative or mega forms, unless stated otherwise. Let's just start. The rock type on average has a triple digit defense value, making it join fighting and steel as the only types to have a triple digit value in any stat category. The rock type on average ranks last in having the lowest speed amongst all types. The most commonly used rock type combination is rock and water with 11. No rock type begins with the letter U or later. This is the only type to do this. Nihiligo is the only rock type that doesn't allocate at least 10% or more of all of its stats into defense. 4 Pokemon breaks the 200 defense mark, 3 of these Pokemon are rock types. Hoenn released the most amount of rock types with 12, and Kalos had the highest concentration of rock types with 8 out of 72 Pokemon being released being the rock type. Alola released the fewest amount of rock types with only 5. No rock type Pokemon from Kanto or Kalos were monotype. 11 rock types were released in the Kanto region. Only Aerodactyl doesn't have a quadruple weakness. When combining a Pokemon's HP and defense stat, Sudowoodo is the only one to have that value equal its national Pokédex number. Cranidos ranks 12th overall in having the highest attack stat for rock types. Everyone ahead of it all have a 100 or more higher base stat than it. 20 rock types allocate 29% or more of all their stat to defense. None came from Galar. 3 of the top 4 attack allocation by a rock type came from the Sinnoh region. 24 rock types has a speed stat of 60 or higher. None came from the Sinnoh region. Aerodactyl has both the highest speed stat and highest speed allocation of all rock type Pokemon. The most commonly used base stat for a rock type is 495, which was used a total of 9 times. The largest gap between a Pokemon's attacking stat for a rock type is Stonejourner with 105. The largest gap between defensive stats by a rock type is Hisuian Avalugg with a gap of 148. The largest attack to special attack ratio of a rock type Pokemon is Bonsly with 8. This is the largest ratio out of all Pokemon, not just rock types. Larvitar is the only rock type Pokemon whose bulk and offense is equalized. When combining a Pokemon's worst 3 stats, Tyranitar has the highest value at 256. When combining a Pokemon's best 3 stats, Roly-Poly has the lowest base stat out of all rock types with 140. The rock type with the highest offense score is Archeops with 362, and the rock type with the lowest bulk score is Rockruff with 125. We halfway done. My favorite rock type is Aggron because it looks cool and because my favorite dinosaur is Triceratops. And no, Bastiodon is neither cool or a Triceratops. 2 rock types allocate 61% or more of all their stat to offensive categories. Both came from the same evolution line. 20 rock types allocate more than half of all their stat to offense. None came from the Johto region. Roly-Poly has the highest special attack allocation of mono rock type Pokemon. Magcargo, Hisuian Avalugg, and Dreadnought are the only Pokemon to gain the rock type upon evolution. All have different types and all have a quad weakness. These are the average stats amongst rock types rounded to the nearest ones. Only Barbicle is within 20 points of each of the averages for rock type. Likewise, Shuckle and Nihiligo aren't within 20 points of any of the averages. In fact, Shuckle isn't even close, bro. I don't even know how far it is. Bruh. Rockruff has the largest increase of base stat from a rock type to rock type evolution with an increase of 207. The best rock type physical sweeper is Archeops with a score of 250, and the best rock type special sweeper is Nihiligo with a score of 230. It is also the best rock type special tank with a score of 258. The best rock type physical tank is Stakataka with a score of 342. Stonejourner is the worst special tank out of all rock types with a score of 40, while Glimmet is the worst physical tank out of all rock types with a score of 70. Rounded to the nearest ones, the average base stat for a rock type is 441. Minior is the closest to this average with a base stat of 440. If special stats were removed, Avalugg would have the highest base stat at 444. If special stats were removed, Roly-Poly would have the lowest base stat at 150. If physical stats were removed, Nihiligo would have the highest base stat at 470. If physical stats were removed, Bonsly would have the lowest base stat at 115. 5 rock types allocate 21% or more of all their stats to special attack. All of them are either rock poison or rock water type. 22 rock type has a below 50 special defense stat. None of them came from the Johto region. 28 rock type has a speed stat of 35 or lower. None came from the Kalos region. Rampardos has the highest special attack out of all mono rock type Pokemon with 65. Archeops is the only rock type to have all its offensive score at 100 or higher. Likewise, Tyranitar is the only one to have all its bulk categories at 100 or higher. These are the average allocation amongst all rock types. Only Barbicle and Crustle are within 3 percentage point of each of the allocations. Likewise, only Shuckle and Onix aren't within 4 percentage point of any of the average allocations. Yeah, those are 50 useless rock type stats. What type do you want to see next? And that's about it.